Sir, all units are in position.
Good. Everything is going to plan. Interfering with Sumeru City is a necessary step, so do not hesitate. The Irminsul situation will not harm you. We need to speed things up here, too. We don't want to keep our client waiting, do we?
No, sir. You have my word. Everything will be completed on schedule.
They say that fervent ambition attracts the favor of the gods, and with it, a vision. But we appear to be the exception. So, is our ambition not strong enough? Or does it threaten the very foundations of this world? It seems my subordinates failed to stop you in your tracks.
Apologies, sir.
There is no need to apologize. You did well to hold your ground against such a powerful adversary for as long as you did. I must commend your courage and perseverance.
So, you're in charge here, huh? First the problems with Irminsul, now this mess in Gurabad? Are you the ones responsible for all this?
I'm afraid I cannot answer that. I assume you aren't naive enough to expect answers from an enemy.
Ugh, this guy is so snooty! However you want to spin it, you're clearly involved in this somehow. So you can either start talking, or we'll have to make you talk. Let's get him! Traveler? What's wrong?
You're remarkably calm. Some would act more rashly upon finding the ringleader all alone. But you keep your cool. Even as your enemy, I must applaud you.
Did you show yourself just to say that?
Is this you trying to take back control of the conversation? Unfortunately, I really don't have anything to say to you. I am here merely to indulge my own curiosity. Your names are well known among the Fatui. Naturally, I wanted to observe you up close while I had the chance.
Hey! Don't treat us like we're some kind of exotic animals in a zoo!
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it. You seem rather predisposed to misunderstand me. I'm quite aware that you are both heroes of great renown. You have resolved crises in many nations and won countless allies along the way. I've been following your adventures with great admiration. My only regret is that the trajectory of your journey conflicts with our goals.
What do you mean, admiration? Sorry, but that sounds pretty weird coming from you.
I don't see why. We may happen to occupy opposing sides, but there is no cause for deep-seated enmity between us. To respect one's enemy is to respect oneself.
Well, now that you're observing us up close, what do you see?
I've observed as keenly as I can. Yet, while I endeavor to understand, your true strength remains a mystery to me. Violence is not my area of expertise either, so, you see, I would much rather converse with you like this than determine a victor with the edge of a blade. Besides, I've heard that even 3 moons in the sky fail to eclipse your brilliance. I know better than to bite off more than I can chew.
3 moons?
So, you have a connection with the Harbinger, the Doctor.
Well deduced. Our commander, Dottore, died in Nodcry, but there are things that do not end with his departure. We must... Look at me. I almost divulged more than I should have.
What are you after? Revenge for Dottore? Or are you plotting something else?
I've said quite enough, I believe. There's no point in continuing this conversation, except to say, I've noticed that you seem to know your way around here quite well. A repeated visitor to Gurabad, are we?
Ugh.
I'll take that as a yes. Then I'm sure you'll have heard the story of this place. The mother of the Jinn, Lilupar, and the tragic tale of her vengeance that spanned 3 generations. It was right here that Lilupar once helped the wise to ascend to the throne. But from that moment on, every king who sat upon it was corrupted by power. These degenerate rulers lost control over their nation, and with it, the right to occupy that exalted seat.
What are you trying to say?
I once admired you for your adventures. That is the earnest truth. But it appears to me that your journey serves ultimately to uphold the rules of this world. Are these rules truly just? Does the heavenly principles rule with wisdom or folly? And how can we be sure that the Seven, who wield authority over the world, will not be corrupted?
Do you seriously think you're gonna convince us of anything?
Convince you? I'm sure my commander already tried that. Why would I waste my breath doing the same? If a few words from a stranger were enough to make someone completely change their stance, it would only prove that they never had a firm will to begin with. I am merely stating my position, so that we might understand each other better. One's enemy in the present may not necessarily be an enemy for life. As for what game I'm playing here, I'm simply buying some time. But now I must bid you farewell. It was a wise decision not to attack me immediately. Since you did not fall for my ambush, I will now have to ask those in hiding to reveal themselves.
Leave this to us, sir.
Very well. I trust you to do what is necessary. Stall her while I execute the next step of the plan. Sumeru City, Irminsul.
Hey! Stop right there! Don't you dare leave without explaining yourself!
All units, stop them! Protect the commander!
Found him! Over here!
You're very persistent.
Hey, you! Stop running and explain yourself! What are you trying to... What's this?
Relax. A small trap like this won't be enough to hold you. The sandstorms from Gurabad will die down soon enough, but this small window of time was all we needed to launch the next phase of our plan. Don't be discouraged. I knew that someone would come here eventually, so I planned ahead. Where to chat with you, which door to exit from, even which mechanism to wait by for you. I thought through every detail. You, meanwhile, know nothing of who I am. So far, you've only heard my voice, and for all you know, it may not even be real. But not to worry. This is only our first meeting. It shan't be our last.
Just answer me one last question. Why do you continue to follow Dottore? He has conducted countless cruel experiments, even on his subordinates.
Follow isn't quite the right word. Let's just say even those you see as villains have their friends, even if they aren't the most sincere of friendships. When any set of rules is established, there will be those who benefit and those who lose out. People will do anything to justify what they have gained or escape from the hardship imposed upon them. Neither he nor I are tolerated by the rules of this world. We were both searching for a new order. Our ideas of the final form that should take may have differed, but our journeys took a shared path. Goodbye, Traveler and Paimon. I wish you a timely escape, albeit not too soon. I will need a little more time to prepare, after all.
Hey! Come back!
We haven't heard a single word from our spy in the desert. I'm afraid he might have been captured.
Never mind.
But we spent years turning him. And a lot of Mora.
Nothing comes for free in this world, but the loss is not without its purpose. For a small price, we have wasted a precious amount of the limited time they have. Quite a bargain, if you ask me.
Understood.
Weighing profit against loss is a necessary part of life. But to tell the truth, I have been operating at a loss since this all began. Since many centuries ago, in fact. For instance, why would a banker act as the executor of a will? If you hadn't deposited your personal belongings at Northland Bank, I would have no reason to be here right now. Dottore, I've placed your final data backup into the ley lines as per our contract. I trust we are now square for the safe deposit fees you paid.
Is it not a little petty to split hairs like this, given our amicable relationship?
I consider sound bookkeeping a matter of principle.
Do not forget that you only live to see this day thanks to me. In fact, every day of your life since you met me, you've been living on borrowed time.
Why, that's hardly a fair assessment. I will concede that my survival was perhaps at your whim, but I became a harbinger on my own merits. Managing money is not like other professions. Mine is not a role I could have acquired based on your recommendation alone, and certainly not one I could have lasted so long in without genuine ability.
The information stored in the ley lines is quite comprehensive. Rest assured, I have not forgotten how strong your pride is. Well, I presume you have no sense of fragmentation while talking with me.
How could anything possibly go wrong with such strict measures in place? The remainder of your soul was split in two, with one half sent to Nodcry and the other stored in the most secure vault of the Northland Bank. Though I must say, your disdain for the other segments is quite amusing. Zandik is you, and you are Zandik. Zandik created the segments, yet you, a segment yourself, reject him.
That is, Zandik, created segments of various ages in his later years. To achieve this, he had to freeze time and part with a portion of his soul. But as constructive as it sounds, it erases my uniqueness. If each segment is equally me, then by the same token, none of them are truly me. A soul living forever in the past inevitably holds different views than he did in his later years. The same thing that completes me also restricts me. You too might ask yourself which stage of your life you want to be preserved at. The day your business failed? Or the day you were framed by a gang and sold off to a medical lab as a test subject?
We needn't dredge up the past.
This undesirable plan was eventually scrapped. Lesser Lord Kusanali was quite right. I needed an opportunity to eliminate myself. And after that, I concluded that there was no more effective plan than directly splitting the soul. Once the soul is transferred out, you will find that creating a physical body is far simpler than creating a puppet.
The other half of your soul suffered a crushing defeat in Nodcry, you know.
And yet in the process, I obtained the information I always wanted, did I not? Because now we finally know where the best testing ground truly lies.
I once thought your ultimate goal was to ascend to godhood, but as it turns out, that was merely one of your experiments.
Experiments take many forms. Most people are too eager for success, too fixated on the end goal. They forget that the experimental process itself is just as important. A suspiciously vacant seat, a new face. I trust you can put two and two together. The reason it doesn't exist is because someone tampered with the record.
What can I say? After all your efforts, you really did uncover the world's secrets. So, is the new world you promised a lie?
No, it never was. I am glad to be able to control Irmin's soul from within. Now I shall attempt to create a new world inside the existing one. Almost everyone faces the prospect of death, but not a single person has ever been able to experiment unrestrained in the afterlife through sheer force of will. I am the only one to have overcome this enormous challenge. Would I not be letting the world down if I didn't make the most of the opportunity to experiment?
Clearly, the dividing of your soul did not affect the magnitude of your ego. Out of all the versions of you that have ever existed, this you is the most insane and the most radical.
Is that why you chose to work with me? Which was it then? My insanity? Or my radicalism?
Could I call myself a venture capitalist without a suitably ambitious plan to invest in? Yours happened to fit the bill quite perfectly.
Well then, I must say, while I am surprised enough that you showed up at all, what surprises me more is that you chose to present yourself as my former subordinate, and not as the banker Pantalone.
Why make things harder than they need to be? Exposing my true identity in a situation like this would only serve to destroy diplomatic relations between Snezhnaya and Sumeru. I daren't imagine the consequences. Showing up in the name of the original antagonist gives you the recognition you rightly deserve, while also being sensitive to Snezhnaya's predicament. It was an easy win. As for why I'm here, if you're suggesting that your credit is in the negative, I won't argue with that. Many people say that about you.
I'd argue that a significant factor in your willingness to cooperate is the fact that you have but a few years of life left after my death. Living and dying together has a way of binding two parties together rather closely. Is it not true that a relationship should be judged by both the positive and negative returns it yields?
So some of what I said actually made it into your head after all. It's true that I hope you don't die too soon, but don't you find that a strange thing for me to say? After all, you've already had quite a long life, especially for a human being.
Let's not pretend that you're any more innocent than I am. Are we not the same in this regard? We both despise the existing laws of this world, and neither of us enjoy being under anyone else's control.
Is it really so greedy to want the world to operate by a new set of rules?
Of course not, my dear friend. And as I've said before, mutual interest is the foundation for the most reliable of relationships. You can attest to that.
I just hope there never comes a day when I have to work too hard to prove that.
Regrator, sir. People have been spotted approaching Sumeru City.
How strange. Despite your access to Irminsol's data, it appears the soldiers noticed before you did. They must have found a workaround. Well, Dottore, I trust you know what this means. The fact is...
they're coming. They'll breach the city gates any moment now.
But even so, I would say Irminsol is a wonderfully convenient thing on the whole. If you do manage to create a new world, perhaps you could plant one outside my office, too.
I'll consider it.
What do you need me to do? Stall them?
The experiment will take time. Stall them for as long as possible.
Very well. But you're really asking for the moon here. Have you heard this story? There was once a guilty man, kneeling in the center of a church while an angry mob outside waited to bring him to justice. He pleaded with the gods, begging them to grant him one final request, the chance to finish confessing his sins before he was sentenced. Many suns and moons passed, seasons changed, and still his confession continued, as if he intended to speak until the end of time.
Are you suggesting I worship you as a god? Or were you hoping that I might confess my sins to you?
Certainly not the latter. That would make my life miserable indeed.
For someone who despises them so, you never seem to have any objections to me creating or becoming one. At first, I thought you'd be furious.
Concerned I would terminate our partnership, were you?
Not at all. You had reasons why our partnership must continue.
Don't you find people's attitudes toward gods amusing? A god descends from the heavens and people worship it unreservedly, blindly following whatever rules are given to them. And yet, when they see an ordinary person gain godlike levels of power by virtue of their own hard work, they treat him with nothing but suspicion, even if he is a compatriot.
Is that supposed to be a compliment?
No, I was just thinking. I pity the man who would call you a compatriot.
There's no need to be so self-critical. I know it's a little late in the day to be asking this, but how have you been keeping?
I'm flattered that you would take the time out of your busy schedule to consider my well-being, Doctor. The part of your soul that went to Nodcry caused quite a stir, sending our organization back to the drawing board on numerous fronts. It was quite a headache for everyone involved.
Dear me, I must have caused you no end of trouble.
You certainly did. I had the rare honor of being summoned before the Tsaritsa with Pulcinella to answer for myself. A terrifying ordeal. Don't worry, I pulled through. At most, it's a public relations nightmare. I made sure of that.
Now I'm curious. How did you explain yourself?
Oh, it was quite simple. I just pinned the blame on someone who wasn't there to defend himself. I could hardly be expected to defy the demands of someone as insistent as the Second Harbinger, now could I?
How you slander me. You know full well that I am perfectly amenable to reason. There's no question that you are partly to blame for the ruin of my reputation over the years. Do you have anything lined up for when this is all over?
Hard to say. Field work always takes quite a toll on me, as you know. Once I'm back at Snezhnaya, I'll start with a well-earned cigarette.
Why are you so eager to ruin your lungs after I went to the trouble of replacing them for you?
If you have an issue with it, feel free to try to stop me. What's on your mind?
The limits of humanity. It's a pity. Despite running countless calculations, I find there is simply no way to reduce any further the amount of one's soul required to sustain an individual.
It's rare to hear you admit to being unable to achieve something.
I beg to differ. For instance, as I've told you before, the original me was prone to motion sickness and couldn't make long train rides.
Ah, yes, of course. One of the reasons you often sent yourself out on errands. What are you thinking about now?
A new experiment. In the event that my soul was depleted, say we extracted my data from someone else's memories, yours for instance, and then combined it with your intact soul as the base material, what would we create?
Such a scenario would be impossible.
Oh?
As long as your current soul survives, there will be no need to create a new individual. Don't forget, you were the one who approved of the present situation wherein only one Dottore remains. And if you ceased to exist, who would be capable of performing this experiment?
Since the day I met you, you've always excelled at talking your way out of a quandary.
Isn't it a little too early to be saying goodbye? Not that I wish to keep you from your business, of course. Very well. Let's leave the conversation there for now.
You have some nerve showing your faces here in the center of Sumeru City.
You're right on schedule.
Well, this guy sure as heck isn't your average Fatui sergeant.
They've stationed quite a few people nearby. It definitely looks like they were waiting for us. But something feels off. Everything about this guy feels too deliberate. I highly doubt he's just a subordinate of Dottore's. And he's no mere sergeant. Whatever his rank is, it's high. Much higher than we thought.
So you've been waiting for us. But it looks like you're geared up for a conversation, rather than a battle.
Very clever, General Mahamatra Sino. I know you're the one in charge of this siege, and I look forward to making a deal with you.
A siege? Sumeru City belongs to us!
Historically, yes. But things can always change. We have quite a sizable force with us, you know. For instance...
There's a Fatui ambush at the north gate.
Can you handle him?
We can for now.
Yes, I'm quite sure both sides can hold their ground for the time being. The battle has not yet reached its climax. But what happens next? Do you enjoy watching bloodshed? Surely some of those here are people you count as friends. Once a war begins, some people must die. I doubt you wish that fate upon anyone you know.
Wait a second. It's a trick. He's not even there. Silence!
He disappeared. What was that? A ghost?
Curses! He was never there to begin with. That was just a shadow projected there to lure us in.
Enough talk! Attack!
I apologize for being unable to accompany you at this crucial moment, but I am compelled to leave for reasons beyond my control. Please excuse me. Sumeru's General Mahamatra is quite ruthless. It's a good thing I wasn't there in person.
Your illusion held them up for a time just fine. But now that they have seen through it, they will realize you were just a decoy.
Decoy or not, what matters now is that they will be heading your way imminently.
Not imminently. They are already here.
Shall we?
Where were we?
I was suggesting that you needn't perform when signing a contract.
You're only sitting here because your bank demanded an evaluation of the trustee.
So you told a story about a young scholar from a merchant family in Sumeru?
I told a compelling tale, didn't I?
The post-expulsion story is far more captivating.
The human experiments or the elixir of immortality?
The part where you die.
Ah, yes. My favorite part. In a miraculous turn of events, he gained the extra time he needed.
I seem to recall it differently.
All right, it's true. No matter how much elixir he took, Zondique remained human and continued to age. Pantalone arrived for a meeting and happened to witness what followed. He found it unsettling.
I never said that.
But the Zondiques were unfazed.
What does all that have to do with you depositing your data at Northland Bank?
It has made me cherish my time in this world all the more.
Fair enough. So you do have a sense of self-preservation.
What do you mean?
You're hardly normal, and you don't cherish life. You just don't want to admit defeat in the limited time you have.
Even so, don't I deserve an interesting ending?
I'm counting on it. What a magnificent fire. In Snezhnaya, we light fires to ward off the cold. Fire, it seems, is antithetical to ideas such as cold, frozen, and unchanging.
Perhaps it has always been that way. From the beginning, fire has been used to drive away wild beasts and warm the body and mind. You could say it's a form of treatment. One that cures the human heart of mortal fear.
Mortal fear? Something you haven't been acquainted with in a long time, by the sounds of it.
Whereas you, I'm sure, must know the feeling quite well indeed. I remember when we first discussed the elixir of immortality, you claimed that extending your lifespan was about buying more time. But was that really the truth? You fear the prospect of dying a wretched end in this world, don't you?
Of course I do. I'm only human, after all. And while you may have forgotten it, you cannot deny that you too were once human, Dottore. I do not believe that there is no such fear in your heart.
Perhaps you are right. But I abandoned it long ago and devoted myself to my experiments. I have felt no fear since.
From the very beginning, I never thought you could win this game.
But still you came, contract in hand, to honor our agreement.
Because I am a reputable partner.
And as we have discussed, experiments are about more than results alone. The process is equally important. I have come here and completed my creation, and I do not regret my decision.
I'm afraid your journey ends here.
After I die, there will be no one to make the elixir of immortality, and your remaining stock will only last a few more years. How then will you prove that you didn't perish in this incident alongside everyone else?
When I feel optimistic about market environments, I never forcibly adjust them. They have their own direction, and I myself am one such environment. I have been quite particular about many things in my life, but where the manner of my death is concerned, I choose not to be.
You make yourself sound so magnanimous.
Oh, but I am. And I hope you will be too. It may have been a long time since anyone told you this, Dottore, but I recognize that you are a truly rare talent.
Ha! I can see it. The experiment in blasphemy that I've been performing all this time. It has been a long process, and I do not care about the results as much as people might imagine.
If the very goal of your experiment was to explore infinite possibilities, then there was never any reason for it to end.
Indeed. Yet now, the experiment has officially drawn to a close.
What should I call you? Zandik? Or do you prefer Dottore?
Suit yourself. Goodbye, Feofan. This time, that's what it truly is.
And don't I know it? Goodbye, Zandik.